What's going on, everyone, and welcome to Movie Emporium's TV review of the new Netflix original series, Selena the Series. This series, of course, is created by Moisés Zamora. Now, before we begin, if you like my channel, of course, hit the subscribe button to join Movie Emporium. Hit that notification bell at the top to find what's coming next. If you like this video, awesome. Hit that like button and comment below on any video that you watch, including this one. So Selena the Series is a two-part series. First part releases on Netflix on December 4th, and it tells the story of a young female singer named Selena Quintanilla, who is played by Christina Serratos. And basically, it's about her story about how she rose to fame through the Tejano music scene from the point when she was very, very young to about 20, 23 years old, somewhere around there, and how she garnered gold and platinum albums, how she became a very influential individual through the female music scene, as well as young female, fans and young female, up and comer dreamers. And unfortunately, at the age of 23, she was murdered by the leader of her fan club. And so, in essence, this story is the kind of rise and fame of her as a human being, as a pop star, but her sad conclusion to where the series will eventually, unfortunately, have to go. And so, this first part, which basically focuses on how she got to the point where she did before she was, at the age of 23, basically follows her from the age of 7 to 8 years old to about when she was 20, 21 years old, where she met her husband Chris, and so on and so forth. But in this series, we follow, her father, who is the headstrong, who is the manager, who can be a little forceful in a lot of respects, but he has a care and a love for his family. It follows her brother AB, who was basically her main lyricist, Suzette, who was her drummer, as well as sister, and the various other individuals who were in her band who kind of left or were fired, quit, and so on and so forth. And so we basically see from, because this is a much longer thing than the Jennifer Lopez movie, we get to see kind of the nuts and bolts as well as the family dynamic that was somewhat portrayed in that movie, but is much more fleshed out in this series. So with that said, talking about the actual story is a little moot, because at this point you kind of know what is going on with Selena's story, what happened to her, and so on and so forth. So with that said, kind of talking about the rest of the story of the actual TV series is kind of moot at this point, because if you know the basics about Selena herself, you kind of know what exactly happened, where she went, how she passed away, so on and so forth. With that said, when you have a TV series coming out, which is following on the footsteps of a very popular movie that had Jennifer Lopez and Edward James Olmos, you have to go in wondering, was this a series that needed to happen? And I'm just being honest, sometimes it feels like they're just trying to find product to sell to the audience. But the thing about a series like Selena is you have the ability to flesh out who Selena was. You have ability to flesh out the family members, the characters, the musicians, who she dealt with, her father, and so on and so forth. And you also have, especially in this day and age, the budget behind it, since it's Netflix, to give us a true representation of the story and life of Selena. So on top of that, I can see why there's a fervor fan base for this, and where there's a lot of hype for this series, because how popular Selena was. And on top of that, we have Abraham Quintanilla and Suzette Quintanilla also producing the series, so that's another kind of plus. They're going through everything with a fine-tooth comb. They're kind of getting the respect that I think Selena deserves. And so with that said, I can definitely honestly say that the series is quite fantastic. And I think with the fact that you have the producers who they are, you have a great cast, you have a great setting, you have, kind of like Blackish in a lot of ways, you have a group, the Mexican American or Tejano music scene, represented very well, giving that side of culture a kind of story to watch, is what makes the series just work in a nutshell. It really does. It has great character development, it has great character motivation. It gets a little too kind of soap opera-ish slash melodramatic in a lot of respects, but it doesn't hamper it. It doesn't hurt the series at all. Christine Serratos, who is a much older individual than the character she's portraying, is wonderful in the series. She's bubbly, she's heartwarming. You could tell that she really loved playing this part. watching her portray a character that probably was a truly a great individual in real life, and watch her rise to fame, and how with her sister Suzette, watching them go into like malls and stuff like that, and watching them just watch people get like really excited to be around her and stuff like that. I think it really stands out of Christine Serratos being a true standout of the series. And of course, she was in The Walking Dead. If you kind of wondering where she's been at, and so on and so forth. So Ricardo Chavira plays her father in this movie, or in the series, Abraham Quintanilla. And as you expect, probably from what you saw from the movie, he's a very headstrong individual. He's a guy that had a band when he was younger named Los Dinos, which is what their band ends up being called, Selena Los Dinos. And he is an individual who sometimes his motivations, and this is probably how he really was, sometimes his motivations are a little too forceful, getting into a little too, strong-willed, I guess you could say, in his respect. But with his wife, and to watch the kind of trials and tribulations that he went through as a human being, as an individual, and to watch his kids succeed, watch certain band members succeed, is really kind of a heartwarming thing to watch. Watching his character be able to, have a house, have a family that stands by him, and to watch how he kind of pushes he's like one of those people that's like take no names type of person, where you have to he's going to bend sometimes, but you're going to have to do what he says. And sometimes it comes off a little melodramatic, but you can really feel the heart and soul of who his character is. And when when you watch, of course, somebody like Selena rise to fame, you see like his sly smile. And when you find out that she has a boyfriend who she ends up marrying named Chris, see him kind of react to that and stuff like that. It's a really fun individual to watch, and I think Ricardo does a really nice job. So, but the series is hinging, of course, on Selena, but it also hinges on the feel and the kind of drive of this whole entire world as the Tejano music scene. And that's where Moisés Zamora, Hiromi Kamada, and the other directors do a nice job. Is they present a world that may not be familiar to you, but they do it in a way to kind of make it feel like you're at home, make you feel like you could live in this world. The idea of the Mexican American culture, the Tejano music scene, it really feels authentic. Every inch that is portrayed on the screen. It's a really well shot, well directed series that, like I said, could fit on ABC or NBC or CBS if this was a fictional story. But because this is a 2-part series, because Netflix, I'm sure, paid a lot of money to put this series on air, I think it does a nice job with the first 9 episodes. You really feel like you're in these clubs. There's points where they shoot footage where it feels like it's on a video camera from the late 80s to early 90s, because it takes place from the 70s to like 1995 or whatever it was, 93. And I just love that. I love when you see the actors in their costumes that look very gaudy for the 80s and 90s and stuff like that, and you see the video cam footage of the camcorder, and you just see like how grainy it looks, and it gives you a really nice feel. And when it comes to the music, I don't know if Christina Serratos is actually singing the music or not. I couldn't find anything on that, so I apologize. Please let me know in the comments if she did. But the music is fantastic. It goes from the series is in English, but they sing the songs, of course, in Spanish, which is very authentic. And you can see like her kind of fight to want to do an English album, and to watch EMI, the people that were in charge of her career, kind of fight against that because they want more Tejano music. And to watch her go to like popular music, stuff like that, it's a really fascinating thing. But the music's really great. There's a lot of renditions of very famous songs. One of my favorite songs of all time is Extreme's No More Words, and they do like a really nice piece in this. I think it's in like the 6th episode or something like that, where they use that song, and it fits very well because of the time that this story takes place. But the other thing that I really enjoy is watching the band, the family, kind of go from a small van, very old style 70s van, to a big tour bus that had no seats, to eventually have the same tour bus with a more normal interior. So that's really fun to watch, stuff like that. And like I said, the family dynamic and the family and friends dynamic is a lot of fun. There's a lot of stuff in here that would be very TV serialized, 30 minutes, because they're only like 30 40 minute episodes and stuff like that. Now, like I said, the series does get a little melodramatic and a little over the top and a little goofy in a lot of places, because it really does feel like I said, a TV series you would see on ABC. So it does keep it to its PG roots, so there's no hardcore nudity or sex or anything like that, which is not what this series needs. But overall, the series is great. It's fantastic. It has moments where you feel very pure and you feel very joyful when you're watching it. It's a very fun series to watch. I just hate that it's going to the eventual conclusion that we all know it's going to in part 2. But for this first part, it does a really nice job of making you feel at home with this Quintanilla family. So it's definitely highly recommended, and especially if you really love the movie, I think you'll really love the series. So but that's it. That's gonna be my take on Selena the series part 1. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know in the comments below what you think of the Selena movie. What do you think of Selena the singer? Are you big fans of the singer, and so on and so forth? But otherwise, if you like my channel, of course, hit the subscribe button to join Movie Emporium. Hit that notification bell at the top to find what's coming next. If you like this video, awesome, hit that like button, and we'll see you guys on the next video. Peace out.